Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ravensclough campsite. Okay, so I'm going to come clean first off that I did little to no preparation on this place or the surrounding area prior to booking. It was the Harry Potter nerd in me that just saw Ravenclaw in the title, and that's just how my mind works, and I booked it straight away. So a couple of things before we kick off with some first impressions. You can probably hear a road which is running adjacent only to this lake. So the campsite itself is tucked in between these hills, and I've been here 2 nights and I can't hear that traffic when I'm over there. You've got the sheep roaming around on this hillside, which obviously make a noise, but you know, you're on a farm, and I think that's all part of the atmosphere. First impressions. I arrived here on a very stormy night and it was getting dark and the campsite was really clearly signposted. And I know that sounds silly, but when it's raining and it's getting dark, you don't want to be sort of scrambling around, going past and having to come back again. It was really clear where this campsite was. I pulled in and the owners came out to greet me in the rain, and that was just a nice touch. They didn't have to do that. They knew I was coming, like that was fine. They could have left me to it, but they didn't. They made the effort. When I arrived at the campsite, you can pretty much park. You can't park next to your tent, but you can park in an area, and it's just literally a few steps and you're onto the campsite main. That area is advertised as small by the owners, and I guess they have to do that because, you know, in terms of a lot of pop-up campsites or farms now that are just opening up their fields, like it is small, but there's certainly enough space for a few pitches here. I was here on my own, so I did have the luxury of choosing my own spot and obviously the best spot on the campsite. So I will caveat my answer with that. But for me, facilities. So there are toilets and a shower, which is actually attached to the main house as well. So I'm paying at current market value, subject to change in availability, £15 a night for this place. And I think that's really good value. There's not a lot of campsites that you can get that cheap these days, especially not ones that have their own wild swimming lake. I mean, it's amazing. And that's what I'm standing on right now. I mean, not on the lake itself, I'm standing on the jetty, but that would be quite impressive. But you can come here and the morning sun rises over these hills. You've got the setting sun in the distance over the hills to the back of us. To enjoy a swim, a paddleboard, or there's a bench behind us there that you can just sit and watch the world go by. Nature, otters, birds, all sorts of things here. So for me, it just adds a really nice touch to this place. Okay, so first rule of visiting Northumberland, always bring your wet weather gear. I haven't come out of this in about 3 days since I arrived, but nonetheless, the trip continues. And we are about a mile outside of Otterburn, which is about a 10-minute drive from the campsite. Really lovely little village. It's got a convenience store, everything you need in there, from groceries through to the old camping supplies and toiletries, etc. But then you've got a really nice mill, cafe, outdoor shop, which is kind of the central hub to Otterburn. Great place for breakfast and coffee, and there's a lovely about a 2-hour walk from the cafe itself, and a nice circular village walk that you can do. But I am here at the first place that I wanted to visit, which is Percy's Cross. It was at this very spot in August of 1388 where an 8,000 strong English force met a smaller in number but no less fearless Scottish force. The Scots were led on horseback by the Earl of Dunbar, an attack that paralysed the English advance. The then English commander, Sir Henry Percy, rallied his available troops and attacked the Scots, attacking what he thought was their main encampment, and it wasn't. More Scots arrived and overpowered the English. The English were defeated. But somehow, Percy still managed to get this cross named after him. Good job, buddy. I thought I'd come up here and give you a sense of the Northumberland wild, which you can obviously experience much of whilst you're here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's windy, it's rainy, and still somehow retains just so much magic about it. You know, it's gorgeous. Anyway, I can't remember the name of the walk that I'm on. I'll put that up here somewhere. But there's a couple of other places that I thought would be worth mentioning to you that you can visit. And as this walk is, it's all extremely close. I think it took me about 15-20 minutes to get here. And the other two places that I'm going to mention now are in a village and very close to a village of Elsdon. The first of those is Winter's Gibbet. This place again lays claim to another gruesome tale. And in 1791, a William Winter was hung here in chains, in plain sight, for a murder that he previously committed. I think the story goes that he was taken from here and then later executed. There's also an ancient stone marker, which is laid to mark the highest point on this ancient drove road. I genuinely thought this place would be a quick stop for me, but I ended up sitting in the lay-by and taking in the view. It's absolutely gorgeous. I thought I'd just drop down and to protect your eardrums a little more, just to tell you the final piece of the journey that I've been on today. And before I do that, it's September here and I've just walked down the hillside and it's mushroom season. I just wanted to show you quickly some of the finds that I had just on that stretch of pathway. The final stop, Elsdon. This was the once ancient capital of Redesdale, another small place with big secrets. Within this church, you find a display case with 3 horse skulls. No one really knows why these horse skulls were built into the building. I know it's quite a popular custom in East Anglia at least, to protect buildings with animal skulls. And ancient people believe this will protect you against evil spirits. Personally though, my favourite part of this church is the ancient stone pillars that still show the marks of the border reavers' swords. They would sharpen their swords on these pillars before going out to seek revenge. So bringing it home with some places to eat as well. And there's a beautiful place in Elsdon called the Bird in Box. A super nice place, really friendly atmosphere. Highly recommend that for a drink. You can lots of seating outside and some good food. Secondly, there's the Gun Inn, which is a beautiful pub on top of the hillside, and you get these gorgeous views from the pub garden and from seating in the restaurant. So yeah, highly recommend checking those places out. But I think that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed this campsite review, and I'll see you all again soon.